Hey folks, Emily Roberts here with ADVrider. We just got finished riding the new Yamaha Tenere 700 World Raid in beautiful Idaho. We definitely put it through its paces today, and overall it was really good getting on a Tenere that felt balanced and very comfortable. It's got the same 689cc parallel twin engine producing around 74 horsepower as the standard T7. The new Tenere 700 World Raid comes with a few really great upgrades compared to the standard T7 that in my mind makes this a way more worthwhile buy than the standard T7. You get a great steering stabilizer dampener. You get upgraded KYB suspension. On the standard T7, you're running a 43 mil fork. On the new World Raid, you've got a 46 mil KYB fork offering 230 mil of travel. On the rear, you've also got an upgraded KYB rear shock. Both are fully adjustable. The rear shock's offering 220 mil of travel. This suspension feels like night and day compared to the standard T7. It might be a little bit aggressive for just your average everyday riding. I did end up adjusting it, so I softened it up by 7 clicks on both the front and rear, which made a huge difference. For somebody my size, it felt playful, it was very responsive, and especially in slow speeds technical terrain, I really got to see how much the suspension thrived. You've also got better wind protection on the World Raid model. It comes with a 6.3 TFT display as well, which has a whole new suite of electronics and options to customize your riding modes. So for throttle and power response, you've got 2 modes. You've got the Explore mode, which is a little bit softer on the bottom end of your throttle. And then you've got your Sport mode, which offers a little bit more torque, a little bit more responsiveness. I actually stayed in Sport mode the whole day. I really enjoyed riding with that. You've also got traction control and slide control, which work cohesively. So I ended up running off-road traction control, which adjusts the slide control to off-road as well, and then taking off the traction control in totality, which took off the slide control as well. Another great thing that they've added on here is instead of just your regular on-off ABS, you've actually got 3 different modes. So you can have ABS fully engaged, you can turn off ABS just in the rear, or turn it off on both the front and the rear. It also works in cohesion with brake control while you're turning, so you can adjust that as well. So with the 6-axis IMU that's included in the World Raid, it sensors as your lean angle increases your braking control and the sturdiness of the bike itself. So that was really interesting to experience. Riding position for this World Raid, in my personal opinion, being a more shorter stature rider, I've always found the standard T7 to be quite top heavy, and I have to say I didn't have very high expectations for the World Raid. It looks beefier, it's still a Tenere. I expected it to be more top heavy, more of a burden to be able to throw around off-road, and that was not the case at all. So the standard T7 comes with 16 liters of fuel, while the World Raid offers 23 liters of fuel. Now the great thing about this, even though we have so much more weight in fuel, it's actually got 2 separate tanks. And if you were to compare the standard T7 to the T7 World Raid side by side, you would notice that these tanks are actually a lot lower than the standard Tenere 700. And even though they're wider, they sit a little bit lower. So they offer this great cross balance point, creating a little bit more mass centrifugation closer to the engine, allowing a way more stable ride, especially in technical terrain. For riders who are taller, you might notice that the seat to peg distance can be a little bit small or too short for you. I noticed that even as somebody who's just under 5'5", I had quite a good bend in my legs. So as a taller rider, you might want to consider getting a higher seat. This stock seat with the bike comes in around 890 mil. In terms of seat height. You can also get a lower seat height with that. It drops it about 12 mil. And that was really nice for me, although not nearly as comfortable. Although to be fair, I've never found the Tenere 700 seat overly comfortable. So the lower seat was just a little bit less comfortable. Luckily, we were standing up for most of the day. In terms of a standing position on this bike, it's a really nice assertive position. I don't want to say aggressive because it is quite comfortable. When I think of an aggressive position, it's a little bit more hunched over, forward leaning. This was quite nice and comfortable to ride standing throughout the day. I was probably one of the shortest riders, and there are some very tall riders here. We all seemed to have a great time on the bike. We all really enjoyed the suspension. So it was great to see the versatility of how much this bike can offer to riders of all shapes and sizes. If you are on the shorter side like me, you do have options. So Yamaha does sell a lowering link for this bike, which lowers it 1/2 inch. It's a linkage lowering kit, costs $149 US, I believe. Along with that, as I mentioned earlier, you can also get the lower seat, which I believe is around $215 US. Combined, that lowers the bike a full inch. I spent the first day riding on the lower model, and I actually found it to be my favorite. And that wasn't just me, it was multiple riders who had gotten to try out both the standard height bike and the lowered bike. A lot of us found that the lowered bike didn't change the geometry of the suspension with the chassis at all, but offered a way more stable ride, a little bit more playfulness in loose terrain. As I mentioned, you've got 23 liters of fuel in here. By my calculations, I was running about 3.9 liters per 100 kilometers. That puts me at about 310 miles per tank, or around 500 kilometers per tank. So it's a really good fuel range, especially for the adventurer if you're looking to do some long travel or some long days off-road in the wilderness. This thing's gonna get you through it, which is really, really lovely. Another thing that I really loved that Yamaha added into this bike, along with the electronic suite, is cruise control. But not only cruise control, they've got a variable speed limiter as well. So you can set your cruise control, and then if you're going through a speed specific zone, you can actually set your variable speed limiter so that it won't allow you to go past a certain speed while riding, which is great for city riding. The bike does come equipped with the Pirelli Scorpion Rally tires. I was surprised how well these did off-road. We had a mix of sand, loose rock, and gravel today, along with some tarmac. On the tarmac, they handled great. If you are an avid off-roader, you're definitely going to want to consider something a little bit more aggressive to equip this bike with. We did a lot of technical stuff today, mainly because I might have gotten us lost and found us a few trails to go down. But first and second gear were short enough to be able to work the clutch and get up some really technical stuff. I was really, really happy not to see the gearing too tall in first and second gear. If you are doing mainly single track stuff though, you might want to consider swapping out your ratio so that you have a little bit shorter of a ratio in your gearing. The steering dampener that the World Raid is equipped with is absolutely incredible. I've only ever ridden with steering stabilizers and dampeners on my rally bikes, so being able to have one on an adventure bike and see it work in real time when we're riding embedded ruts covered in sand was really, really pleasurable. All right, so this bike weighs in at 485 pounds or 222 kilograms. So it is on the heavier side of a mid-size adventure bike, but I can tell you, you do not feel that weight. I still feel like the T7 riding it in technical terrain feels heavier than this World Raid. When you turn off the bike, your ride modes do not reset. So they keep your ride modes that you have set previously, which is wonderful. So if you had traction control off or ABS off, those stay off. But if you turn the ignition key off, then they will reset. Now, to compensate for that, Yamaha has actually added an ABS button right beside the display, which is, I like to think of it as like the easy button. You hit it, you hold it for 3 seconds, it resets to your previous ride modes that you had set up with the bike. So if you do have to turn off the key to the bike and reset everything, instead of going through the menu, setting all of your settings, because there's 5 different options that you can go through, all you have to do is hit this fantastic little button and it resets for you. The new Yamaha Tenere 700 World Raid is going to be priced at $12,999 US or $16,999 Canadian. Compared to the price of the standard Tenere 700, I can't think of many reasons why you wouldn't just upgrade to this bike. Again, the suspension alone makes a world of difference. The balance point of the bike feels completely different from the standard Tenere, so especially for a shorter stature person who loves the Tenere, who loves kind of that basic electronic suite. Although this does have more electronics with it, you get a way more balanced machine with the same Tenere 700 engine. That's tried and true. You get better suspension, same chassis. I don't have many bad things to say about it. I will say the one issue that I found, which is minimal, but I would love to see adjustable levers on this. So your clutch and your brake lever are not adjustable in terms of distance coming towards the bar. It is a cable clutch, so you do have a little bit of play there in terms of the engagement point that you're going to be feeling, but I would love to see a little bit of adjustment to bring that lever a little bit closer to the handlebar. Aside from that though, really pleased with this bike. Yamaha, well done. Again, for the price of this bike, if you are thinking of a mid-size adventure machine, I would highly consider this one. If you have any demos in your area, please get on this bike and try it with the standard Tenere 700, because it'll show you very quickly why this one is worth a little bit more money. Again, my name's Emily Roberts, and I'm from ADVrider. Have a great day.